Grand Prix of Europe wasn't exactly a thriller. Indeed, these are just about the first fireworks we've seen all afternoon, but it's surrounded by controversy, and we await the outcome of a steward's investigation into incidents in the Ferrari pits. At the moment, the victory is with Felipe Massa, and a well-deserved victory. He drove brilliantly today, but the steward's investigating the unsafe release of his car into the path of Adrian Sutil's Force India, and that may yet deprive Massa of that win. It may yet give victory to Lewis Hamilton, who was a solid second, Kubica a fine third, and then Kovalainen, Trulli, Vettel, an outstanding drive from the Toro Rosso driver, Timo Glock, Nico Rosberg complete those point scorers. And once again, Lewis Hamilton profits in the Drivers' Championship. He inches that lead out to 6 points now over Felipe Massa, who overhauls Kimi Räikkönen. And Räikkönen drops down into third. But all that may change. We await the steward's decision. And we'll be very interested indeed to hear the drivers' opinions. And they're in the press conference right now.
Felipe,
I'm pretty happy with the way I got through it.
Well, not exactly a revealing press conference. No thoughts and no indication from Felipe Massa on whether he might yet be deprived of that race victory. Was his car released from the pits in an unsafe manner? That's what the stewards are considering at the moment. It is a question we'll put to Mark Blundell and possibly a few others when we return in a couple of minutes' time. Here in Valencia, Felipe Massa is the provisional winner of the Grand Prix of Europe. The stewards are considering at the moment whether his car was released from this pit lane here in an unsafe manner. Mark Blundell, what is your opinion?
I think first you've got to take on board the pit lane exit itself, Steve. It's very narrow. It's normally big enough for a couple of cars. Here it's not. Yeah, the pit lane was the situation of Massa being released, and he was released because the light showed him he could do that. That's actuated by the chief mechanic. The thing is, was there an incident that could have occurred? Yes, it could have. There were safety cars on the right. There was a cameraman there. But it didn't happen, and that's the main effect here. We're going to say that nothing did actually happen. Was it unsafe at the end of it? Both cars got out clean.
Why on earth are the stewards waiting till after the race to reach a conclusion on this?
I can only presume because they want to get both sides of the story, and I think they'll analyse the data as well. Obviously, at the moment, Ferrari is saying that Massa lifted off. He avoided any incident because he made sure he slowed up and let Sutil go through. I think they're going to try and clarify that before they give a penalty or not give a penalty, as the case may be. OK, let's get Adrian Sutil's view on exactly what happened there.
Well, I didn't see him, yeah. I was driving down the pit lane and suddenly a car came there. I went to the left a little bit. So, yeah, and then I tried to let him pass as soon as possible. So after the first corner, I tried to let him pass and it was OK.
Ferrari, the incident is under investigation from the stewards for letting him out unsafely. What's your view on that? Do you think it was unsafe? You were the man he was driving into or could have driven into?
Well, in the pits, everybody is in a rush and want to do as fast as possible everything. So we saw it many times in the race that some cars go out side by side. For sure, the guy on the pit stop should look before the car goes out. But I think, well, we have to look again. I want to see it on TV, and then I can give a better statement.
Whatever happens, Lewis Hamilton in second at the moment has strengthened his World Championship position. An awful 20 minutes or so for Ferrari. Kimi Räikkönen's big problems here as well.
Again, we got problems with engine. You know, it's a massive problem with the situation of Ferrari. An incident like this is not what we normally see with these guys. They're a top operating team. They don't normally make mistakes to this level. And you could only feel in this stage that maybe Räikkönen was the guy who went a little bit early, because we haven't really got a good view yet, Steve, but I'm sure there'll be some footage which shows us whether those lights were actuated. Just look there, you see, you don't actually see the green light just above Räikkönen's head. And it looks like Kimi pulled a little bit early, and consequently we've got the damage to one of the mechanics. Hopefully he's okay. This is a situation with Massa, what we had in Hungary. We've now seen it with Räikkönen. Kimi already knew his engine was gone, that's why he pulled over, and as soon as he pulled over, then the plumes of smoke come. A driver feels these things very quickly, and, you know, Ferrari must be now racking their brains. 2 engine failures in 2 races, massive deal.
Let's emphasise, though, that Felipe Massa drove brilliantly today, deserves this win, but what's your gut feeling? What's going to happen?
Well, at the end of the day, they're still under race conditions, Steve. They come into the pits, they do their stops, it's still a race, it's still going on. It's deemed to be still part of the racetrack. The fact of it is, for me, no incident actually did happen. If it had happened, then yeah, sure, I think there'd be a penalty given out. But I don't think there'd be anything done. I'd be very surprised.
And Lewis Hamilton and McLaren, the conservative approach, it's delivered a result today.
Well, we may say conservative approach. I think the McLaren didn't have the pure pace of Ferrari today. They couldn't match them. If anybody could have done it, it would have been Lewis behind the wheel of that one. And, you know, I think they've got a bit of work to do. It's going to be tough for them going into the next race.
But Massa is his principal World Championship opposition, it seems now.
He's on a roll. Ferrari got to back him now. Raikkonen's on a downer. He's not doing the job in qualifying, and he only comes good at the end of a race, it seems. They've got to put Ferrari and Massa together now to make that run at Lewis. OK, we await the decision of the stewards. All I can suggest is that you stay tuned to the ITV F1 website for all the news, and certainly join us for our highlights tonight at 10:45. Let me also tell you about a lot of football coming up through the next few days on ITV. Carling Cup highlights on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday, what's become a very big game for Liverpool. 0-0 from the first leg of their Champions League qualifier against Standard Liège. Live coverage from Anfield from 8. And then on Friday, the Super Cup final, Manchester United against Zenit St. Petersburg, 7:30 ITV1. Next, motorsport. That's live coverage of the touring cars at Silverstone through next Sunday afternoon on ITV4. And the next Formula One, 2 weeks' time, Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, 10 past midday for qualifying on Saturday, and the Belgian Grand Prix itself from 12 noon on Sunday. But the Grand Prix of Europe at the moment, at least, it's victory for Massa, a solid second for Lewis Hamilton. That might yet change. Stay tuned to the website. Might yet be Hamilton. Bye-bye.